All right, guys, I got some major breaking news here for you that just came in. Let me walk you through it. So we get this from Israel, their news channel 12 that they have there. We get this. Senior official in Netanyahu's office. The decision has been made. We're going to occupy Gaza. So that's it. They're announcing a total and complete takeover of the entire Gaza Strip. They're going to occupy it. They're going to build settlements there. Of course, they're going to try to complete the ethnic cleansing. Kill however many they can, and then kick out however many remain, and that's what they're going to do. And I want an apology from every single person who pretended like this wasn't the goal all along. That's what everybody needs to digest. That's what everybody needs to struggle with right now, is you need to come to terms with the fact that this was the goal all along, and everybody who told you that this was the goal all along, we were right. It's a fact. It's now been validated. It's now been proven. If your concern was actually defensive in nature, if your concern was actually rooting out the bad guys and going after Hamas, well, then this wouldn't be what you're doing, right? This wouldn't be what you're doing. You would specifically target the 30 or 40,000 Hamas members out of over 2 million people, and you would have, tried to crack down on them while making sure you're not going after any civilians, you're not stealing any land, you're not doing anything that even looks improper. Well, now you know. Now they're saying it. Now it's out in the open. Now, there's no more PR bullshit. There's no more fluff. There's no more nonsense. There's no more, double speak, say one thing, do another, flat out lie. They're just saying, we're going to take over all of Gaza. We're going to take it over. We're going to occupy it. We're going to steal the land. We're going to build settlements on it. They're now saying it. This is flagrantly in contravention of international law. Just the most brazenly illegal announcement you could ever make. Spitting in the eye of the international community and spitting in the eye of rule of law and laying a precedent where now any bigger, more powerful country can do this to a smaller country that's less powerful, that has a smaller military or fewer weapons, and they go, well, what are you going to do to stop me? There's nothing you can do to stop me. Who are you going to appeal to? Whoever you're going to appeal to is not going to listen. Your fate is in our hands. This is the law of the jungle. We do what we want. We get away with it. But every single decrepit Zionist freak who was out there pretending like this wasn't the goal all along, you should all fucking be banned from talking politics ever again, ever. And you should send out an apology to every single person who warned you from the beginning that the Israeli intentions all along was this. This is what it was. This is what they wanted. So the most disgusting and disturbing part of this is there will be no acknowledgement and no recognition that the people who were right all along were right all along. And you had to analyze the actions of the Israelis through the prism of this is what they want to do. They're full of shit. They're on the offense. They're not on defense. And they have nefarious intentions to not only steal Gaza, but also steal the West Bank as well. Also create a greater Israel, steal parts of Syria as they're doing. This is all out there, bro. This is all out in the open. There's no need for speculation. There's no need for reading between the lines. There's no need for extrapolating. It's all right there in front of you. At this point, if you don't see it, you have a fucking cinder block where your brain is supposed to be. So now they're announcing it. Total takeover of the entire West Bank. They're going to occupy, a total takeover of Gaza. We'll get to the West Bank in a second. They're going to occupy it. They're going to build settlements. So in other words, when Donald Trump was tweeting that AI video of the U.S. and Israel taking over Gaza, building hotels and casinos on the beach, him and Netanyahu were sitting by the pool drinking a mojito or a margarita. When we saw that, people go, oh my God, that's disgusting. How could he do that? And then everybody forgot about it. But that's actually what they're going to bring. That's actually what they're going to do. That's actually coming to pass. And so, again, everybody who said all along this is a genocide, this is an ethnic cleansing. That is exactly right. There is no more plausible deniability. If you're saying we're going to occupy Gaza, what you're saying is there are going to be no more Palestinians there. If you're saying there's no more Palestinians, what does that mean? It means you either kill them, as you already have, over 100,000 for sure, or transfer them. Ethnic cleansing. Hey, we want to send them to Libya. We want to make a deal with this government or that government and forcibly send them there. That's what this is. I've never seen a more open and shut case at the International Criminal Court or the International Court of Justice of genocide than this. Nothing's ever been more straightforward. In fact, it's frustrating when anybody, even to have the debate at this point, frustrates me to no end. Because it's like, how can anybody debate the opposite side? They told you this is what they wanted to do, and then they did it. And now they're telling you the second part of the equation, yeah, we're going to reoccupy Gaza, the whole thing. That's it. It's open and shut case. I mean, oh my God, it's wild. And we're still not done, so I also want to show you this. So remember, Trump is completely and utterly bought and owned by the Israel lobby. He is their bitch. Also, there's Epstein blackmail on him where he's doing Lord knows what on video or on pictures with underage girls. And so that can be held over his head. And so mix the Israel lobby money, the Miriam Adelson money with the blackmail. And it's this perfect storm of, I will be your little bitch boy and do whatever you want. Right? And so as a result of that, we get this. Look, breaking. The Trump administration announces it will withhold federal disaster preparedness funds for any U.S. state or city that boycotts Israel, according to Reuters. Wow, what an amazing time to announce that. The same day, the Israeli government says, yeah, we're not playing with you bitches anymore. We're taking over all of Gaza. We're going to reoccupy that whole shit. Yeah, we were the bad guys all along. Ha ha. Everybody who was defending us, you're an idiot. You're a dipshit. We were always the villain. We were always going on the offense. We always wanted to steal the land. We always wanted to kill the Palestinians. Ha ha. At the same time they come out and say that, now the U.S. government is saying, if any U.S. state says, we no longer want to do business with this country because they're flagrantly violating international law, they're killing countless innocent people, they're starving people to death right in front of our faces, they're stealing land brazenly, we don't want to associate with them anymore. If a U.S. state does that, then Trump says, you're not getting any federal money. You're getting no federal disaster preparedness money. So I'm gonna take away millions, maybe even billions of dollars from individual states if they just have a moral conscience and stand up and say, I'm against the Nazi atrocity of our time. Look at the timing of this announcement. They're not even hiding it anymore. It's out there in the open. It's out there in the open. The same day they announce a flagrant violation of international law, stealing land from innocent people, reoccupying it like a historic atrocity of our time. Trump says, if you try to oppose the historic atrocity of our time, I'm going to cut off your money. These people will go down in the history books as fucking supervillains. By the way, I'm still not done. So we were just talking about Gaza, but the West Bank is something to keep your eye on too. So look at this. So the U.S. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, he visited a settlement in the occupied West Bank during a private trip on Monday, August 4th. And then he and his delegation planted a tree there. So this settlement, Ariel, is completely illegal under international law. And it's the first time you had a high-ranking U.S. official visit one of the illegal settlements and give it their blessing. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but even going back, Democrat president, Republican president, it doesn't matter. Every single one of them would say U.S. policy is we are against the illegal settlements that are stealing land from Palestinians in the West Bank. That was always our stance. The settlements are illegal under international law, and in a two-state solution, we're going to make sure the illegal settlers don't get to stay there anymore. They're going to get kicked off there. That's going to go back to Palestinians' hands. This was always the U.S. position. Well, now, the Speaker of the House is basically giving them the blessing. Yeah, this is an illegal settlement. We don't care. We support you. Steal as much land as you want. Crystal just spoke to an expert on this issue who went on Breaking Points and said, for all intents and purposes, the West Bank annexation is complete. It's already done. Like, they've annexed effectively the entire West Bank. And now the Speaker of the House is going there and blessing. So now it's not only are they going to take over all of Gaza, resettle it, reoccupy it, kick Palestinians off their land, kill them, starve them to death. Now, in the West Bank, they're going to absolutely take all of the territory. And Lord only knows what they have planned for those people there. Probably more ethnic cleansing, right? The best case scenario would be some Bantustans where they have no rights and they're perpetually under the boot of a military dictatorship of a foreign ethno-state that doesn't give a fuck about them. This is all happening right in front of our eyes. So guys, where are we now? Well, I'll tell you, because the Irish president actually just came out and said this the other day, and I think he's 100% right. So the Irish president urges the UN to intervene in Gaza, citing the destruction of an entire people. And he goes on to say, I want to invoke chapter 7, I think it is. And he said, the UN, ready for this, needs to intervene militarily. So in other words, not a unilateral war against Israel where one nation says we're going to war with Israel because of what they're doing. A multilateral war against Israel where effectively you send UN troops, armed UN troops in there that basically say, hey, you're going to open up those fucking gates. Those 6,000 trucks that are sitting there with aid and medicine and all that stuff, That's going to be allowed in. That's going to get to the Palestinian people. And if you try to block it, we open fire. So in other words, to try to protect the Palestinian people who are undergoing a genocide right in front of our eyes, the United Nations is saying, or the Irish president is saying, we need the UN to intervene militarily to make this happen. And by the way, let me just say, I think he's 100% correct. Because the fact of the matter is this, the stage we're at now, even if we did all the other things that we all know we should do, cut off the money to Israel, cut off the weapons, condemn them at the UN, sanction the government officials, bring them up on war crimes charges, arrest Netanyahu, arrest Ben-Gvir, arrest Smotrich, arrest the generals, force a peace deal on them and broker a deal for Palestinian liberation. Even if you did all of those things, we are so far into this genocide, so deep into this genocide, we're in the middle of the final fucking solution. It might not be enough without UN military intervention to try to stop the psychotic, bloodthirsty army from doing what we already know they're trying to do. So I think the Irish president is right. I think the only disturbing part about this is he should have said this, and I should have said this, and everybody who was paying attention should have said this a fucking year and a half ago. A year and a half ago. We need multilateral UN action, get directly involved, and militarily stop the genocide. Militarily stop the genocide. This is a rogue nation. It is a terror state. It is a fascist state. It is an apartheid state. And not only, by the way, Israel are not the only ones who are guilty here. We are guilty as well. The United States of America is guilty as well. And the fact of the matter is, now with Israel saying, yeah, we're going to steal all of Gaza, fuck off, we don't care. Now with them saying that, the world needs to spring into action, cut off all economic ties with Israel, all of them. And then if the U.S. tries to go back at you, if the U.S. tries to protect Israel further, well, you should also cut off all ties with the U.S. I'm sorry, let's be serious. The United States needs to be sanctioned to the high fucking heavens. We need to be sanctioned. If we do not care and do not uphold international law and justice and human rights and basic rules, well then, I'm sorry, we're in no position to be the world's sole superpower. And we should be sanctioned in the same way Israel is sanctioned. We should be forced to fucking heal where the global economy goes, we're not buying any American products anymore and we're not sending our products to you anymore. Would it hurt? Yeah. But it's worth it to try to save lives and bring back rule of law and prevent genocides in the future. Somebody's got to draw a hard line, bro. And this is that moment. It just is now. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.